Hello, I am Jennifer Kavanaugh, and welcome to Between Worlds for February 4th, 2021. I've been thinking a lot the past few days about this concept of worrying and fear in particular. And I've been thinking about this parable I had read several years ago. And I'm probably going to get it wrong, so don't take this as exact, but it was something along the lines of if you can fix something, why worry about it? And if you can't fix it, why worry about it? And it always sat with me for a couple of reasons because we spend so much time and energy worrying about things, dropping into anxiety or fear. And it's a really good question of like, if I can fix it, I don't really need to worry about it because I can fix it. I can change the situation. And if I can't change the situation, where is the worrying actually going to get me? And when I think about this in the grander scheme of things, of what's happening in the world right now, I know for me, I've played out a lot of the different timelines that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of horrible timelines over the past year. And I could sit here and freeze um, or drop into that fear or move into a state of needing to fight. And I've definitely had my moments where I have. Or I could just ignore the timelines altogether, which is also another strategy. And what I have found over the years is that when I have a fear, to really go into it, to play it out, to see what the potential scenario could be, and then make my choices about what do I want to do, um, knowing that, right? So when I look at some of the potential timelines and the outcomes that we have, and we're looking at from the negative timelines, I mean, I'm really focused on the positive timeline, to be quite honest. I really see a world where we are able to do the things that we're passionate about. We're here fulfilling, our mission. We're outside. The weather is warm. We're not cold and dark. We're getting together with our neighbors. We're celebrating. Our children are able to be free and to learn and to experience childhood. And as adults, we have more time to experience joy and do the things that we love. And that's definitely where my focus is, and drawing that energy in and anchoring that energy in. But when I look at some of the other potential or possible outcomes, you could say, one is potentially being locked up in some kind of camp or something like that. And I go back to this, this question, this parable of, if that were to come to be, would I be able to change the scenario? There's the option that you might be able to fight, um, and there's the option that whether you fight or not, that you could win or you could lose. And so if I'm going to play it out all the way down the dark side, so if I were to lose, um, would I be able to change that? Maybe, maybe not. If I couldn't change that, how would that change my choices now? And this is where it's really important for me, is how do I change my choices now? Because this is the moment I'm in right now, is the present. And I know for me, if I were to end up in that particular timeline, I would want to make sure that the time that I have now, that I am doing the things that I love to do, that I'm spending time with the people that I love, that I'm letting my children know how much they are loved, and how much I would fight for them, if we ever were in a negative situation. And then I ask myself, am I doing that? Am I doing that now? Am I doing everything possible to take advantage of this time I have now? And if I am, then that means I'm changing my situation. I'm making my situation what I want it to be in this moment. And if it comes a point that I can't change that situation, then at least I have the comfort in my heart that I have done and made the choices that I wanted to make up until that point. Um, and I also know that, when we are in periods of isolation or we're separated from the people that we love, what the one thing we have left is our mind and our soul and our memories. And so it's really important to make sure that we have those memories, right? That we're building those memories on a day-to-day basis. And then there's other scenarios too of like, you look at apocalyptic type events, flashes, and we're all just gone or we're moved to another planet or dimension or something. And when I look at those timelines, I'm like, okay, well, there's probably not a whole lot I could do to change that. So, what would I want if I didn't have a choice on the actual outcome of the event? What would I want, or what choices would I want to make for me personally that I would have some control over? And I think for me, the one thing I would want is that if that flash were to occur, that I would be with the people that I love. So, so I ask myself that question on a daily basis. Am I spending the time with the people that I love? And are they close to me? Am I creating a lifestyle or an environment in this time, in this now moment, where that would be a possibility that we would be together, um, if that happened. And oftentimes we're afraid to go all the way down the timeline, right? We feel the fear, and our initial reaction is, oh no, if we look at that fear, then we're going to put energy into it, and then we may create that potential timeline. I don't believe that entirely. I think we can um, create an energy or a pull in a specific direction with our thoughts, but that's more so when we have a high emotional state, in my opinion, because we're putting a lot more energy into it. So if I'm fearful of it and I'm avoiding the rational look at it, yeah, I'm going to be feeding energy into it. But if I can pause, take a step back, and play that out a little bit further and really, look at what the potential scenarios are, and look at what my options are, and look at what decisions I could make now, um, to put me in a better position, or to put me in a place where at least no matter what, I'll have peace in my heart. That's always my ultimate goal. How will I know that I can have peace in my heart at the end? So, you know, I don't want to encourage you to spend too much time in the fear, because that's not great. It's We really need to be holding the line in terms of what is that future, ideal world that we want to land in, and really look at that and examine that and visualize that and feel that in our heart. It's more important, I think, for us to feel how we're going to feel, how we want to feel, than it is to necessarily visualize it. So if you were to consider for a moment, what is my ideal life? If I could create the world that I wanted, which I believe we can, what would that world feel like? How would I feel in my body? What does freedom actually feel like in my body? And then once you have that feeling, then the visuals, then the actual um, nuts and bolts of everything can start to come together around that feeling. Whereas if we do it the other way around, I mean, I think we've proven to ourselves now that we can be fooled by what we see, and what we see doesn't always line up with the intrinsic feeling, the internal feeling associated with that. So as you go through the next couple of weeks, I've got two challenges for you. One, start to ask yourself, what is that ideal life, that ideal world that I want to live in? And how do I feel about it? And when the fear arises, say, okay, I see that I have this fear. I see it's here. Let me see it. Let me play it out. You can look at your fears. There's no harm in looking at your fears. In fact, by looking at them, we disarm them. And when we disarm them, then we become free, because it's the fear that keeps us trapped here. So there's my thoughts for the day. If you have any comments, or you want to play out some timelines, or you want to share your vision for the ideal world, for the reality that you want to create, please share that with me. I think it's really important for us to continue to dream right now, to continue to dream and laugh. There's still a lot coming, because with every phase of destruction, every end of cycle that we experience in time, a new cycle, a new reality is birthed out of that, right? If you consider the image of a forest fire, it's awful to witness um, a destructive force move through land. It really is terrible. But we always know that new life sprouts out of the ashes. And I think, we're kind of witnessing that fire right now. And some of us are getting ready. We're planting the seeds for those new sprouts to arrive. And you have your role to play in that. We all have our own role to play in that. So choose your role wisely. Have a beautiful day, and we'll see you soon.